Good morning. I'm Josanne Wright Callender, the author of Making Do, Growing Up Colored in the Jim Crow South During the Great Depression. And I am doing this, you might notice that it says 32A in writer's notes because I did a 32 yesterday. Was so exhausted that I've flubbed a couple of times and I didn't even say my name right. I said, that is really bizarre. But this is what lack of sleep does. And we've been out of town, gotten back, and pretty much as soon as we walked in the door, bam, got a lot of different activities that we had lined up come like the day that I arrived. So, one of those things that came up, which was a blessing, was I was preparing for an interview with a podcaster. Her name is Vicki Pepper, and she's in the San Diego area. But that in itself was like rattling to me, and I hadn't done an interview since like about 20 years ago. Um, in another rendition of my career, I was working as a film producer with a friend of mine who has since passed, Quan Phillips. And we did this film by the name of One Down, and you could probably find it on YouTube or something. But did a lot of interviews then. But I am so not in that mode. I've been a teacher for 27 plus years, and then recently, writing my book Making Do, and that banner that says Tuskegee is going to change a little bit from Tuskegee Tales. It's still coming. I still haven't gotten the final. When I do, you'll see a different banner up there. Um, but this interview was just so impactful for me because it really focuses your attention. You try to distill the knowledge that you have down to some fine points, and this one was one that gave me some opportunity to think of, okay, what does my book have in it that could relate to all ages? And it's pretty much universal story. It's a love story, takes place in the 1940s, and there's some similarities to what our society is like today, but only because it's the future of what happened back in the 40s, and because of what my ancestors and many other African Americans, Black Americans did. We have today a much better life. I asked a couple of my elder relatives how was racism at that time compared to this time, and they said, "Oh, there's just no comparison." Because in the 40s, even though we had the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendment, um, there were no, equal protection was a regional decision, which made Jim Crow more prevalent in the South. And it was still in the North to a certain extent. And you can read about the Detroit riots that happened, so there was still prejudice. But the thing that I wanted to make a point on in my little interview was that it was the faith that the individuals had who were in the story, and the characters are an homage to my parents. It's just incredible. Their faith in God helped them through these tough times and gave them a hope for the future. And that's what I draw on. And that's why I really enjoyed the interview, because it reminded me of those components of the story that I wanted to bring alive. Well, this is why I'm also saying that I am offering a workshop. It's not free, but if there's going to be a link below, and it's for those of you who would like to explore writing your legacy stories, and it's called Writing with God. And I say that title is so important to me because this whole process was a prayer walk. And there were times that I would get stuck, and, I said, well, I don't know what to say next. And then I talked with a friend of mine, a couple of friends, a couple of relatives, and one was Phyllis Kelly, who is the audio voice of Making Do, which we're still in the process of putting together. And there should be a link in Amazon where you could hear a preview of the audiobook. But she said, "Oh, did you pray about it?" And I said, "Oh, no, I didn't." And so, constantly being reminded to pray about what I wanted to say and how I wanted this book to be received was how it came to pass. So, check the link out and hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for being with me today. Please subscribe, please share, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.